We are back with a new episode. As you know, every week we originate from the studios, WGBB Studios, in West Babylon, New York. Ways to catch the show, go to latenightparents.com. It's usually a trifecta. It's usually a holy trinity. Tonight doesn't seem to be the case. Looks like the amazing Richard C. Valdez is not in the building. Rumor has it he's rewriting the script along with the Sci-Fi Network for 3001: A Space Odyssey. Rumor has it. We don't know if it's true. We'll wait for him next week to answer that question. But we do this with the best team on the planet. In the absence of Richard Valdez, we have the illustrious Dr. Michele Reed in the building.
Hi, Ted. How are you?
Pretty good, Doc. It's good to see you.
Do you think he's going to be back? Because last week, Linda, his wife, was not here. And then this week's is him. So I don't know.
I don't know. I thought you guys were like dropping like flies. I said, okay, this is like an NBA season. And you have a couple of folks. And by the time you hit the game 60, the third quarter of the season, getting ready for the playoffs, everyone gets hurt. Everyone needs rest. Coaches are saying the players are tired. But we have the fit doc in the building who never gets tired. So happy to have you here.
Great to be here.
As always.
I hope you had a good week and a great weekend.
I did have a great week because last week's show, you gave me the week off.
I know. You were here and then you were not here.
I know.
Maybe that's why Rich didn't come in today.
No. It was a great conversation last week.
No, he worked too hard last week.
Oh, let's not go there. Hard work. Mr. Valdez. Mm-hmm. King of the campus. I'll leave it right there. As I say to you after every show, we have a great show planned tonight. 2 guests and 1 subject matter expert. So, getting ready to come on live, we have my good friend Gaidar from Acronis, last name pronounced Magdanurov. So, I don't know. So, he's getting ready to come on. We're going to talk about... we're going to talk about the Acronis software. Now, there's a lot of different people that talk about... and you have your own business, Dr. Michele. And, questions come up about backing up. How is your data backed up? Is your data backed up in the cloud? A lot of people talk about Carbonite. Mm-hmm. A lot of people talk about all these different other models. But there's one application out there that I will tell you that's a step above the rest. And that's because I can tell you because I use the software.
You use it at your office?
I use it at home.
Oh, okay.
I use it at home, and I use it to back up multiple devices, whether it's PC, Mac, it's software agnostic, Facebook, and your mobile device. So I use it in 5 different devices that are available. But we're also talking about World Backup Day. That's going to be on March 31st. Mm-hmm. And Late Night Parents is doing some work along with Acronis to promote World Backup Day. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome to our show once again, Gaidar. Gaidar, how you doing?
Hi, doing great.
Wonderful. So, want to tell you this much. The software that you were telling me about a few months ago, it's as advertised. It is as advertised. I've used it. I installed it. I was expecting some, to be slightly buggy or what, because I look and I see a lot of these other applications will work 80% of the time and be slightly quirky, 10 or 15% of the time. The Acronis True Image 2017 application, wonderful.
Thank you. No software is perfect, but we're trying to be as good as we can.
That is so true. So tell us about World Backup Day.
Yeah, World Backup Day is kind of our holiday now. It all started actually not so long ago. It was 2011, and a student of Youngstown State University, Ismail Jadin, started after a conversation on Reddit about the importance of data backup. So he, with a few more Reddit users, they were talking that a lot of people actually not backing up data, and it would be good to have a day that will serve as a reminder of importance of data backup. And they picked the March 31st, right before the April Fool's Day.
Correct.
Because, friendly jokes may sometimes be a reason for data loss too, or some other interesting thing that may happen with your computers and devices. So they used the date to just to remind people about the importance of data protection. And they called it World Backup Day. And since then, a lot of companies that do backup or storage, they use this date to remind their customers and remind everyone about the importance of data backup.
Perfect.
But then now, how often do you recommend that people back up? Because I don't think we should just wait once a year.
Absolutely. We should back up every day. So what we do recommend is to back up important data as frequent as it is reasonable. So if you have something very important that is changing all the time, you may have to back it up every minute or every hour. For most people, it's okay just to back up just once a day. But what's important is that we do recommend to have multiple copies. So one backup is not enough. So if you have a copy of your data on an external drive or a network device, and there's just one backup copy, something may happen to backup as well. So what we recommend is to have at least two destinations for your data, for your backups, and the ultimate destination could be the cloud storage. So it's always good to have a local copy of your data somewhere in an external drive and also have a copy somewhere in the cloud, and backup at least once a day.
So you mentioned backup once a day. So basically you're saying incremental once a day, and then maybe a full backup on the weekends and we're looking at not in per se a business, but per se like a home user.
Yeah, so most home users, especially if they're using our software, they just need to configure a backup once, run it once a day, and make it incremental. And we'll do the first full copy of the data, and we'll keep the first initial image of the data, and then all the increments. And then you can recover to any point in time for the data that you store.
Gaidar, could you give us some tips and tricks on how to keep your data safe in regards to, I guess, we see it more and more. Well, it's been that way for the last couple of years with the amount of ransomware incidents that have been out there.
Oh, yeah. Ransomware is growing. Actually, before I give you some tips, I just wanted to share some information about the recent survey we've done.
Okay.
Every year, we do a research, and we ask customers around the world, and not only customers, but just computer users around the world, what they do for backup, how they use backup, if they do backup at all. And what was interesting for us to learn is that more and more people actually concerned about the security of their data. So in the past, they were just thinking about having a copy, but now they're thinking about having a secure copy that cannot be stolen or cannot be modified by some malicious software. And it's happening because ransomware is growing. So now the bad guys who used to attack companies and different firms, banks and hospitals, they actually find a way to get money directly from the pocket of just an average consumer, home user. They use ransomware to infect computers, encrypt all the data on those computers, and then they demand ransom to decrypt the files. So in the past, it was easy to lose data by losing a device or maybe having some software glitch or just a user error. But now it's getting more and more frequent that the cause of the data loss is this ransomware, because no one guarantees you that if you pay the ransom that you'll get your data back. So now backup is getting to be more and more important. And we were asking people if they do backup and how many people actually do backup. And now we know that about 25% of people don't do backup at all, although they know the importance of the data backup, but they don't do it at all. They have different reasons for that, sometimes because they think that it's difficult to do backup. That's why we recommend to use a software that will automatically back up everything. But we also had some interesting findings. So we know that every third household in the world, from our research, has experienced the data loss over some period of time. And although the people experienced data loss in the past, some of them still not doing backups, which is really not a good idea. And also, what we learned is that about 60% of people actually are not aware of ransomware threats, and they don't know how to protect their data. So we know, on the other hand, that the ransomware threat is growing, and it's going to be huge because it's just everywhere, but people are not aware of it. So we see as one of our goals is to explain to people that this ransomware can hit a home user and that home user should be protected. And backup is the best protection against ransomware as well as from data loss, because even if your data is encrypted in your computer, you can recover it from the backup and keep working and keep using your data without paying any ransom. That's very, very important. And what we recommend to
No, go ahead.
What we recommend to do is very simple. So have a backup in multiple destinations, multiple copies. So even if you have your backup corrupt, for whatever reason, maybe a hard drive failure, you will still have a second copy. So it's one of the important rules of backup. You need to have more than one backup copy of your data. And the backup should be as secure as possible. That's why we released the new version of our software, Acronis Image, that actually protects against ransomware, protecting the backups that you have on your computer and in the cloud. But first rule of backup is, and for data protection, is to have a copy. The second rule is to keep your software and operating system up to date all the time, because developers are fixing issues and glitches all the time. There's no perfect software in the world, so it's better to have the most recent version with all the fixes. So the third rule is do not open suspicious emails. Do not run applications you don't know. And the bad guys will try to trick you into opening something that you don't want to open. They will try to trick you to launch some application, but just avoid doing that, because that's one of the major reasons why people get infected by viruses and ransomware. And the fourth rule is very simple, is to keep your antivirus running if you have it. If you don't, at the very least, on Windows, run the Windows Defender and make sure that you're updating your Windows Defender. So you need protection now, because there are more viruses, more ransomware being created every day, and you should protect your data. So that's a simple 4 steps to protect your data. Backup, get everything up to date, do not open some suspicious emails and applications, and have an antivirus and keep it open.
Gaidar, I want to thank you so much on those tips. I got to tell you this. There's 2 things I do want to mention about the software. One being, yes, True Image is as advertised, as I said before. I was at a location where I needed a local specific document that's on my home network. And guess what? I didn't have to VPN into it. I didn't have to use remote desktop. I was able to just pull it up. I went to the console, really quick and really easy, pulled the copy, downloaded a copy of the document. I got to give you a thumbs up on that one. Second option, second way I have to give you a thumbs up is you only talked about the backup process. You didn't mention, at all the disk utilities that are available along with this package, which are also great.
Yeah, we're very proud of them too.
I was going to say, Gaidar, too bad I didn't meet you about 12 years ago, because being a parent and growing up on this digital age, everything as far as all the pictures and the videos for my children, everything got downloaded onto the computer. So we're missing pictures probably for their first 2 years of life.
Oh, yeah, that's terrible. I have 2 little kids, and I would be just, I don't know, it would be a disaster for me to lose their pictures and the videos. But actually, an interesting fact is we're talking to our customers, and we learned one very simple truth about how people handle the data. Younger people now have less pictures from their childhood than older people, because older people, they always have paper copy.
Yes.
And now younger people, they have only digital files, and they lose them all the time. They don't do backups. And it sounds funny because now digital age, you can copy everything. You have as many copies if you want. But every time we do some survey or talk to the customers, we find this fact being truth, is that younger people, they don't have that many pictures as older people have. So it's just happening.
Yes. And that's something we're going to have to work at. Because one day we're going to have to print out everything. Because if you go over to my parents' house, they have pictures galore. So we're going to have to do a little better with that aspect.
Yeah, basically they have a physical backup for their pictures. That's why World Backup Day is so important. That's why we're telling everyone, just do backup. If you have data, do backup. If you have something important, keep multiple copies.
Gaidar, we're going to be working with you later this week with the Twitter chat, where we're going to be talking about World Backup Day. Really excited to partner up with you guys again. You have a great team, and you're going to have some great bloggers able to share their experiences and also talking about your software. So that's another thumbs up.
Thank you.
So, hey, what's the best way to get in contact with you, to find out about World Backup Day, to find out about Acronis, all the above?
The best way is just to hit our website, which is acronis.com. Just go there, and we always have some information there about the current offers that we have, about our software. And currently we have a special promotion for the World Backup Day, where you can get not only our software, but a bunch of other tools that will be just included into the price of our software. I do recommend to check it out.
Gaidar, once again, thank you so much, and look forward to working with you later this week.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Yes, that reminds me. I'm going to have to check with Scott this evening to make sure we're still backing up like we're supposed to.
Yes.
Because we can't wait till the end of the month.
No, you can't wait till the end of the month. You should be doing some part of it every day. But as long as you get some type of application that you can install and that it's going somewhere outside of that local drive that resides on your computer, then you're good to go.
Yes. I mean, that's for the house. I mean, the home, the work, I know we are backing up on a regular basis.
Good.
So we just have to make sure we're doing it at the house.
That's perfect. Hey, I want to segue real quick. There's a lot that we have to cover, but there was a topic that you and I were talking about, and it has nothing to do with Acronis or World Backup Day. High-risk pregnancies.
So I was kind of concerned because I didn't know if that was like a jab. Like, were you guys trying to have another child, or
no?
Were you asking me if I was planning to?
No. None of the above.
Because I was trying to figure out, okay, so why is he bringing this topic up to me? Because as far as I know, we're finished.
Right. We were done 9.5 years ago. So with pregnancies and being pregnant is an exciting time for women and couples, but for approximately over 350,000 women each year, it's also a very stressful and risky time. High risk is a result of many factors ranging from age of the mother to high blood pressure. I thought it's only best that we have our resident doctor, Dr. Michele Reed, discuss high-risk pregnancies and kind of speak to the stress that women may feel when deemed a high-risk pregnancy.
Okay. So pregnancy is considered high risk if there can be any type of increased incident that can cause death to either the fetus or the baby or the mom. So if there's any type of chances of them having an increased health problem, that's deemed a high-risk pregnancy. Well, some of the categories we sort of break it into is whether or not you have an existing health condition, depending on what the age of the mother, lifestyle factors, and conditions of pregnancy. One of the key things that I like to stress to my patients is, are you doing everything that you can right now so that if you do get pregnant and when you do get pregnant, you're going to have a healthy pregnancy? Couple of things. So if you have an existing condition of being high blood pressure,
Okay.
are you taking your medicine like you're supposed to? Are you exercising? Are you watching what you're eating? Because if you have high blood pressure, you're increasing the risk during the pregnancy that your pressure might go uncontrolled. And of course, when you do get pregnant, you're going to have to be switched to a different medicine that will not affect the baby. And babies that are born when mothers have high blood pressure, there can be damage to the baby because the baby might be born with a low birth weight.
Okay.
And one of the things that can happen to the mom is it can have kidney disease or kidney damage. Diabetes is another condition that we see a lot, especially in my office. But if we can work on making sure your diabetes is under good control before you get pregnant, we're going to be less likely to have any type of problems at all. Because sometimes the babies can be born with birth defects. And these are things that we can sort of prevent if we're doing what we're supposed to do. And I know I keep saying doing what we're supposed to do because it's something that's very easy for us to manage so that we prevent the long-term effects that could happen either to the mother or to the baby. With that being said, a lot of times when women get pregnant, they feel that they can just eat everything and that they're eating for two. Yes, you're eating for two, but at the same time, it has to be healthy eating for two because we've had patients who weren't diabetics or who did not have high blood pressure, but they feel every time they see ice cream and they start craving ice cream or they start craving sweet pickles or they feel that they want to have some steak or fried chicken, and that's going to increase the likelihood of you developing diabetes or high blood pressure, or even your cholesterol will increase. I remember one of the key factors, of course, of being a high-risk pregnancy is due to your age. And growing up, the age used to be 40.
Okay.
Now it's 35. So for me, when I became pregnant, I was 35 years old. So, boom, I was automatically considered high risk.
Okay.
Then throw on the top that I was pregnant with two. Because anytime you have multiple pregnancy, you're considered high risk. So because of those two things, I had to visit the high risk doctor. But at the same time, you know what? I'm pregnant. I can do as I please sometimes, but I had really bad reflux. What worked for me was ice cream. Cold Stone became my good friend. And Cold Stone became such a great friend of mine that Cold Stone decided that my cholesterol needed to go up. And these are things that, especially as a mom who went through it, yes, we have certain things that we like to eat, but everything has to be in moderation. And so no matter what we ask for, every time we ask for it, doesn't necessarily mean that our spouse needs to give it to us.
Gotcha.
But luckily I did not become a diabetic, so that was good. But other things that sort of are out of our control is if you have any type of autoimmune disease like lupus, say for instance, that increases the likelihood of you having or giving birth to an early baby or the baby being stillborn. And even with thyroid disease, if your thyroid is not under good control, the mom could have heart failure and the baby could be born with birth defects. So I guess just listening to certain things, I mean, these are things that we can prevent except for if you have an autoimmune disease or if you have a thyroid disorder. And obesity, yes, the average that they say to gain is 25 pounds, but it's also recommended that if you are not at a healthy weight to begin with, if you weigh more than what you should be, your weight gain should not be 25 pounds during the pregnancy.
Okay.
When we talk about age, another factor that we have to take in consideration, especially these days, is that we have young teenagers that are getting pregnant. And sometimes when they're pregnant, they don't necessarily go for their prenatal care because they don't want anyone to know that they're pregnant, and that they're able to sort of hide their pregnancy, because we've had cases where they've been pregnant for the full pregnancy and no one knows until they present with maybe back pain or they're in labor. And then that's when people find out. So a teen pregnancy is an increased risk for being high risk. And that's something that we need to make sure that we talk to our teens, because sometimes they continue to have sex and sometimes they have unprotected sex, which increases the likelihood of them giving birth while they've been untreated for gonorrhea, chlamydia, herpes, and even sometimes HIV.
Wow. Doc, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, I was going to say two other things that we can also prevent.
Okay.
Is if you smoke, especially cigarettes. And of course, nowadays we're getting a lot of people smoking marijuana.
Right.
If you're smoking cigarettes, marijuana, or drinking any alcohol, the best thing is to just stop it now. Especially with the cigarette smoking, we're seeing babies that are suffering and developing asthma and allergies after they've been born, or sudden infant death syndrome, being exposed to the cigarette smoke. So a lot of things to think about, because when you go and you decide you want to become pregnant, you really have to be in the best physical condition that you can be in, because it's going to be a lot of stress on your body, physically, mentally, and spiritually.
Gotcha. Well, I appreciate you giving us the words of wisdom. And, I mean, when I saw the topic, there was only one person I wanted to speak with, and that was you.
Okay, but like I said, I just wanted to make sure that you weren't trying to, insinuate something was going on, that I needed to get pregnant, or that you and your wife were thinking about having another child.
No. We're done. And I think Rich and his wife are done, too.
I don't know. They're not here today, so we can't say.
But no, I saw this subject matter, and then, like I said, there's only one person. I mean, I see a lot of different subject matter. Some of the stuff I present, and some of the stuff I've presented before in the past, and you were like, no, I really don't feel like talking about something like that. And I'm like, okay, I back away. I usually do. But you're great.
But that's all right. But thank you very much.
Nah, always. What was the topic that I was thinking about in a couple of weeks? I didn't want to send it to you, too many different items. The item was, hang on. I saw it, and I was thinking about you, and I said, if I send this to Doc now.
Was it how to prepare and run your first half marathon?
No.
That you were going to do?
It was on probiotics.
Oh, probiotics? Okay,
yeah.
That's no problem.
Yeah, it was about that. No. Running my first marathon? No.
No, half marathon. Because, you got this 5K coming up on April 9th.
I got the 5K coming up, and I'm really excited about that. And, no, I'm getting prepared. I'm prepared for that. Don't even worry about that.
Okay. You and Rich, because Rich said he's going to be there.
Did you get the paperwork from Rich?
I sure did.
I don't know. I mean, I know last week you asked for the paperwork. I provided it to you.
I received his paperwork and your paperwork.
And it was a very small nominal fee that you were asking for. And I said, here you go.
And I owe you $2.
But at the end of the show, and I believe Kevin's in the queue, but at the end of the show, Rich hadn't given you the paperwork. So I don't know what transpired.
He did. He turned it in. And that means that everyone is going to be ready for the JFK runway run/walk. That is a 5K on Sunday, April 9th at 9 o'clock.
All right. But as we segue, this is Late Night Parents. Dr. Michele and Ted Hicks are talking in absence of Richard Valdez, who's somewhere. I still don't know where he is. I'm just not sure, But our featured guest of the evening is in the queue, Mr. Kevin McLeod from Rogers Athletics. He's the general manager and their product is called MVP Drive. Why we're talking about it, it's really more about, Dr. Michele, it's about player safety.
Which is a great topic, especially since I am a family physician and then I'm the school district doctor for 2 school districts.
Yes, and the MVP Drive is a tool that was created to provide most realistic playing experience without human involvement. The concept holds true from Pop Warner to the National Football League, as well as any other sport that desires to reduce the risk of injury through unnecessary contact. And our featured guest of the evening, Kevin McLeod. Kev, how you doing?
I'm doing well. I think you summed it all up. I don't know what you need me here for.
Oh, come on.
We've got sales territories open, Ted, if you'd like one.
Oh, well, we can talk after the show. That'd be great, Kev. I'll take on another job.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, welcome to the show. Glad to have you here. We've seen we've posted a blog that was shared with your PR team to ours. And we've seen the device in action. We've seen the device itself with NFL Network. We've seen it from your Stephen Colbert, your YouTube page. How did you come about? How did this whole thing come about?
Well, we were actually very fortunate to be able to partner with Dartmouth and Coach Buddy Tevens. That this concept came. Buddy had the idea. It's funny. Every time we introduce this to a new coach, most coaches will tell you, "Gosh, I thought of that. I wish I would have done this." But ultimately, Buddy Tevens and the team at Dartmouth actually put the concept together, came up with their initial prototypes, got the intellectual property, and then Rogers Athletic they reached out to us, and we were very fortunate to be able to partner with them, and now we're the manufacturer and distributor for the device. But ultimately, what Buddy was looking for is, as you described already, is a way to mimic the human element on the practice field without actually having a human do the movement. And the biggest part is obviously concussions, but the reality is, from broken fingers to ankles to ACLs, they happen every day in practice across the country. And it's legitimately doing drills that we can actually recreate with a product that is as human as anything else out there, at least at this point.
That's a great thing because a lot more injuries happen in practice than during the actual live game day.
Absolutely. And it's the art of tackling in and of itself has been a bit lost in the last decade in football. And the more that we try to focus on tackling, the more issues happen in practice, because there's nothing more realistic than tackling a live ball carrier. And what the MVP Drive is able to do, the product itself it weighs 195 pounds, and it will run 17 to 19 miles an hour, depending on what kind of surface it is, if it's natural grass or turf. And the battery technology gives you the opportunity to stop and start very, very quickly, much like you find in Teslas and electric cars now. The acceleration is immediate, so it is extremely lifelike. And at 195 pounds and 15, 17 miles an hour, it'll hit you. So the players have to be ready, and they absolutely have to be able to provide perfect technique to be able to bring it down.
I see here a recent CDC report shows that the amount of reported concussions have more than doubled in the last 10 years. So, with this specific device, how do you get to the point of, okay, it's been announced, but how do you take it and how do you expand this message? How does it become a part of, the NFL every day? How does it become a part? How does it become, mainstream or industry standard?
It's the biggest part is just getting it in front of the coaches. Which the product we actually shipped our very first commercial units last week, Thursday, and prior to that we had it in with 10 accounts across the country, 2 high schools, 5 college universities, and then 3 NFL teams. And the experience we started to gain there, which is where we started to get. You saw some of the media reports on the device where it started out as kind of a cute sort of glitchy thing that has now turned into real results. And the way we plan on making the concept and the belief mainstream is getting them on the practice fields across the country this spring in spring ball, and then in high schools that don't have spring practice, we'll start getting it in the fall. And then we have to collect data, make sure that we understand what changes because of the use of the device. Coach Stevens and the Dartmouth group, they've actually been able to document 40% less contact that could lead to injury in their practices over the 2016 football season. So almost half the opportunity for an athlete to get injured in practice, which is remarkable. So those are the results we need to start advertising, and those are the results we need to start seeing across the country, not only in the NFL and collegiately, but all the way down through Pop Warner.
So now, how cost-effective is it for, I guess, the Pop Warner going into the junior high school level? Because, we can't compare what their budget is to the NFL or even college.
Correct. And that's what at $8,000, or $8,250 is the retail on the product. Mm-hmm. It's certainly an investment, but the quick answer to you is how do you justify it? And you justify it by, an ACL procedure. One ACL procedure would cost $15,000 to $20,000 on average across the United States. But in the same respect, the device will be used over years as well. So it's not something that you expect to get the payback immediately, but it's going to be over time and the reduction in the potential injury that you'll see the payback. And I'll be honest, we've actually been quite surprised by the number of high schools that have actually ordered initially. We have over 50 different customers that have ordered already, and about 15% of them are high schools.
Oh, wow.
And a lot of that's coming through booster programs. A few of them have been, parents who just saw it as a great opportunity to donate to their high schools. Mm-hmm. So that's it's a bit of a surprise that it was so high, but the ultimate effect that this product will have on the football field and the practice field certainly makes it worthwhile to a lot of these organizations.
Kevin, question, and it might be more for our Dartmouth-style question, but how hard was it to simulate, human motion? How hard was it to, for blocking or tackling?
Well, and Coach Stevens will tell you, and he's been very adamant of the fact that this product, so if you go back in history, the very first tackling dummy, for instance, the stationary dummy, the blocking sled, everything that has been innovative in football in the United States has been focused on trying to limit hitting on a player. So following along those lines, the next evolution was to have something that moved. The question was, how fast did it have to go? Where would you sort of dial it in? And the team at Dartmouth and the company that was formed out of Dartmouth, Mobile Virtual Player, they spent a couple of years just dialing in really what would be the optimal product. And then teaming with Rogers 2 years ago, it was taking it that final step and figuring out exactly how it would go. And it all came down to how many football fields we could get it on, how many people we could have tackling it, just to understand how to get the product out of them perfectly.
Kevin, we want to thank you for joining us tonight. I know you took it's might only seem like a few minutes, but you stopped your day to join us. Wanted to know if we wanted to know more information about this, MVP Drive or Rogers Athletics. What's the best ways for us to find out about it?
The best way to find out about the MVP Drive is to go to mvpdrive.com. If you just Google MVP Drive or whatever your favorite search engine is, it'll take you to the website. It'll explain everything you need to know. Videos are there, and then it's tied right into Rogers Athletic as well.
Kevin, I want to thank you so much for joining us, and we will definitely be in touch in the future.
Thank you very much, Kevin.
Oh, thank you. Have a great night, guys.
You too.
You too. That's something definitely I think more school districts should look into doing.
Yeah, definitely. Come on. I mean, it gets to the point of what are you waiting for? The funding?
Well, that's something. Well, I was going to say, that's something that they have to factor into their budget.
Right. They definitely need to. I mean, the one question I should have asked Kevin is, you got so many different parents that are saying, "Hey, I don't want to let my son play football, or I don't want my son to play this physical sport, or because they're concerned." Because
Most definitely.
What all these studies are coming up with nowadays, and we're seeing the byproduct of these players.
Long-term effects, the ones who played in the NFL.
Yes. And you're seeing,
And those are the only ones that we hear about.
Right.
So there's a whole bunch more.
Oh, my goodness. So this is Late Night Parents. This is Dr. Michele and Ted are here talking about World Backup Day. Did you know it's the 30th anniversary of the Air Max sneaker, Dr. Michele?
That might be something that I don't know, but I'm pretty sure if we spoke to my sons, Stephen and Marcus, they probably might know that.
Definitely. The 30th anniversary. I can't tell you. I mean, has it really been 30 years since I've worn a pair of Air Maxes? I think my first pair was maybe 85.
I don't think I ever had a pair.
86.
I know for a fact I never had a pair.
No, it was 87, so it's 30 years, yeah.
87, I was still, gosh, was I even born then?
Oh, stop. So, yeah, it's the 30th anniversary of the Air Max. This is our last show.
Our last show?
Yeah.
Our last show where?
For the month of March.
Oh.
And with it being the last show for the month of March, I needed Rich here so he could just turn and go. Women's History Month.
So wait a second. So why do we have to talk about Women's History Month at the end of the month?
No, we should have talked about it in the beginning of the month, because last year when I was doing this show, at the beginning of the month, that's where I first met you, because we had you on for Women's History Month. You think I didn't remember that? I do. Okay.
Yes. I understand.
Okay. So I'm bringing this up. Why? You're wondering. You're like, okay, tie the two things together for me, Ted. Because someone's being honored this week.
Oh, okay.
You didn't get it?
Yes.
You didn't see the...
Where? You're funny. I'm telling you, we need to get that music going.
Yeah, I know. We're working on it. We're going to work with our super producer. He's going to have the music in the background. We've already talked about it. He said, Ted, don't worry. Just give me the instrumentals. I'll play them.
Great.
He said this like maybe 3 months ago, and I haven't moved on it.
Who's the producer?
The super producer engineer.
Yeah, who's the super producer engineer? He didn't say anything. He just pointed back to you.
Yeah,
so I think
we talked about it, and I didn't move on it, is what I'm saying.
Well, he's definitely waiting for you.
Okay.
Because he gave you the point back.
Yes, but who is being honored this week?
We're all being honored this week.
Oh, my goodness.
Especially all of the women around.
Specifically, in this room, which woman is being honored this week?
You tell me.
Aren't you going to be honored this week?
If you tell me I am, I will be.
You don't want to talk about it?
You can talk about anything you want to talk about. We've already talked about high-risk pregnancies because I was like, okay, maybe he thinks I'm high risk because I've been running that much. I don't know.
Here I am. I wanted to highlight the fact that you're going to be honored this week, and fine. We won't talk about it then.
You can talk about it all you want.
Oh, my
Are you going to be able to make it? You just jump off the train and you can be right there.
First of all, I'm trying to give you your props about being honored this week. You know, but you don't want to receive it, and then you want to ask me about making the event. It usually doesn't happen that way. It's usually like, oh, yeah, let me tell you about...
No, I'm just saying it in case you want to go through the whole thing.
Oh, my goodness. Women's Breaking Ground. The NASA comptroller, George Maragos, will host the Women Breaking Ground, an event to recognize Nassau County women for professional achievements and service to the community. Our very own Dr. Michele has been selected by as an honoree by the comptroller. So it's coming up. It's this week on the 29th.
Which is Wednesday.
6:30 at night. And I wanted to
say that you're going to be able to make it.
Honor you on the fact that you're being honored. Oh, my goodness. Now, if I didn't say anything about it, you'd be ripping me apart when you're calling me. We would be talking after the show, and you'd be like, you know what, Ted? You could have mentioned that.
Ted, I've always been very nice to you. Very nice to you.
Yes, and I've been nice to you.
Yes.
All the time.
And thank you very much for giving me that special moment where you announced about the honor. Deeply appreciate it. But you still didn't answer my question. I said, are you going to be able to make it?
Wednesday, I should be able to make it.
Okay.
I should be able to make it.
If you need a ride from the train station, just let me know.
It's a Tuesday. I'm jammed up. I have an event. And I think either Thursday or Friday I have an event.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think those are the days. I think Wednesday might be doable.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Goodness.
That support means a lot.
Oh.
I'll make sure that I mention you in the book. Because I already scratched that out. But I'll pencil you back in.
Oh, my God. All right. I don't know where Rich is this week. You've totally just blew my mind because I thought I was doing something nice. But so the last thing I'm going to talk about is streaming for the week. I watched Dave Chappelle.
Oh, how did you like it?
I really, really liked it.
Did Rich watch it too?
I'm not sure. I told him about it when it had dropped.
Mm-hmm.
But I really liked it. It's not for kids.
When was Dave ever for kids? Tell me.
I can't.
He has never been for kids.
No, not at all.
But do you think he was as good as he was before?
That first episode, even better.
Oh, really?
Even better.
That's
Serious.
good. So I'm glad he's making a comeback.
Serious. Even better.
Because I was getting a little concerned.
Nah. Not at all. Hey, I just started streaming The Americans. It's a show that's on FX. Pretty good. And I plan to watch Iron Fist that was just released on Netflix.
Great.
Those are the three things that are kind of like in the queue that I'm streaming for, the upcoming week, next couple of weeks, because it's a lot of episodes. But before we go around the table, next week, special show.
You're funny. You said around the table. It's just across the table. Just the two of us. But don't worry, Rich. We miss you. I even did a special Facebook post of your chair. That's how much we miss you.
Oh, my goodness. You see?
But next week should be really exciting.
Why?
Well, we have, really three special guests, but the first one is going to be Bill Latham. He's an author and education expert, and he is going to talk about charter schools and a really special and powerful topic where some of the kids are going to be tested this week. Common Core.
And then we have two of the youngest entrepreneurs that will be in the studio to talk about their company And I'm not sure where they're coming from. They're
coming from New York,
Okay.
and they're going to be talking about their water bottle company.
okay.
And they are youngsters.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So that's good. That's really good.
Yeah, so it should be very interesting.
So I guess we should go, as I said before, around the table. So, Rich, where are you going to be doing this week? Oh, okay, great. So Rich is not here. Dr. Michele, what's going on with you?
Well, this week I am going to be upping my game as far as preparing for the JFK runway run
Oh, okay.
on Sunday, April 9th. So getting a little bit more running in, some core work.
Okay.
One of the patients told me last week that if I was going to be running, he was definitely going to be running, but he was going to race me. And he plans to beat me.
Really?
That's what he said.
I think that's good. Competition is healthy, right?
I
Even
guess
if it's
so.
in his mind.
But then I told him, I'm a really social runner. So, I'll be taking pictures. You can go ahead and pass me, but as long as you're out there with me, that's fine.
Gotcha. That's it?
Well, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Getting ready for that. I mean,
Okay.
that's a major thing.
Okay.
That's our group outing. That's our first outing as the team for Late Night Parents.
No, it's not. We were at the other event, remember?
Well, no, that one, the Go Ready event,
Uh-huh.
you all did not exercise. And the
But there was no exercise.
walk in the park, yes, there was. There was dancing and there was basketball. And when we did the walk in the park,
basketball.
when we did the walk in the park,
Walk in the park. When was this?
the beginning of September, you weren't able to make it. I think that's when you had the isolated blackout event. So you weren't able to make it. So this is redemption.
I'm done.
This is
You know?
redemption.
I'm done with
Sunday,
you.
April 9th. Redemption at the JFK runway. And please don't say that you had to stop by the church to get a palm, because the other day, I went to Gala Fresh. They already had palms ready
Yeah.
at Gala Fresh.
Oh, okay. What is that, Palm Sunday?
It's Palm Sunday, and it's Palm Sunday. And it's Marcus and Steven's birthday, so I'm not sure if
right.
they're going to be running on the runway that day, because they usually do, but I think they said they wanted to take a break.
Okay. All right. Gotcha. And once again, you got a great week coming up. I like I said, boy, you gave me like a virtual backslap during this show tonight.
No, I was very nice. I was very nice. And matter of fact, what are you planning to do this week, Ted?
I got some stuff that I'm doing with Verizon.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a couple of evening events that I got to go to to talk about their Insta Internet in downtown Manhattan. So talking about that, doing some stuff with Acronis and Epson for projectors.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I gotta do some side work with them, working with them on some of their new products that they have coming out.
So do they have any products that they need anyone to try out or anything?
I'm sure they will, so I will definitely submit your name.
That's great. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Other than that,
I didn't say if anything falls off the truck. I said if they have any products to sample.
yeah, so it's like I do during the week, I do like a lot of different product promotions and stuff like that. And so, that's really it.
Okay. So it sounds like it's going to be a great time. And then you also have to remember you're getting your exercise in, too.
Yes, I am. But we're getting ready to close out. Best ways to get in contact with Dr. Michele?
Ask drmichele.com and fitdoc.com.
All right. And this is the real Ted Hicks. Thank you once again. LateNightParents.com.